Message. Dear Williams, we got cigarettes.
No, Negro. Why would you ask me some old goofy ass shit like that?
Indisputable tea. Hashtag police arrest murderer who targeted black women after calling the claims unfounded rumors. Who do serial killers target? Serial killers intentionally go after the people that they know the institutions, like the police, categorically dismiss or deny. At Benjamin Harlow. Red Circle PCTV. Show live. Tonight I'll talk about it Tuesday live. Topic of the day. Email, YouTube, now live on channel. Tonight I'll talk about it Tuesday live. Topic of the day. Story setting button. Incoming messenger audio call from Kira Williams. Messenger. Answer. Call with Kira Williams. Microphone.
You heard me? I said, you know I ain't got no cigarettes, right? I ain't got no cigarettes in days. I got 4. Like I said, you can come grab the 4 back. You can come grab the 4 from me, so you don't have to use it. Okay. So how about how about I just give you the 1 you need or the 4 you need to play it, but to get it back. Sheesh. All right, folks, we're about to get this thing going. Of course, my damn phone is my tablet, of course, is being a weird one today. It's been actually weird the last couple of days, so let's see if it decides to do right today. Hey, no problems there. We went live on the first attempt. So, with all of that being, we're already on the path to live streaming. I appreciate y'all for joining this live stream today. I do want to tell you that we are about to join in a conversation. And man, oh man, this conversation gets real because there's some real shit involved. So, what I'm telling you is about to go down with some shit, all right? But I'm gonna give y'all some time because I know we just got here.
Next song button.
So we're gonna chill to some of this instrumental vibes. You know what I'm saying? Just giving y'all a little introduction, man. Come on in. Chill with your boy for a second. So yeah, that's it. And at any time, if anybody wants to join in this conversation and talk with us, we will give you guys the floor. So I'm gonna drop this comment in the comment section.
Messenger. Incoming messenger audio call from messenger. Ring. Answer button.
Right now, hold on.
Overview button. Selecting music. Next song button. Double tap to activate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get back into this conversation because I had a topic today. Talking about so with that conversation, I hope you guys are ready for this because I said real shit. Got to have a conversation similar to what happened last week. Signals traffic. I don't have the patience. I'm not understanding why this shit keeps doing this weird ass shit. Like, of all the goddamn things you could do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that shit. Oh my fucking god, what are you doing today with this IG? That shit. This is the second day in a row it did this shit. Like, it's not even fucking being funny right now. I have no problem streaming. All of a sudden, this shit does not want to stay live. Pause. They fucking shut off. Right. And it's only Instagram doing this shit. I'm right now currently streaming with my YouTubers and my Twitch folks and my fucking Facebookers, but I can't get IG to stay on fucking on point today. And this is where most of my base is at. Most of my people is on IG, which is stupid as hell because I don't understand why this is even a problem. If I'm connected through my motherfucking
Post charity love hashtag trash gone posted something new.
I think this is savagery. This is what I like
about Unbox charity love hashtag trash gone https://www.bandlab.com/post/b0c93119-394f-394f-at11-819-00.
Holy shit. And get all these notifications. The top two, say the top to the pot. This is acting real funny, guys. This shit acting real funny, guys. It's not even letting me join. It's not even letting me go live on IG. And I know it ain't got nothing to do with my signal. Because we've been through this already, folks. We went through this whole shit yesterday. It took us almost 40 minutes to get this fucking Instagram live. Shit went live, and then it just froze, and then it paused. Like all of a sudden, you don't know how to connect, or it has no signal to connect for some reason. I don't get this shit. Like, how is it not connected when I'm currently live right now? So, like, where else could I be having a lack of signal this bad? That shit is extra fucking weird. Like, of all the damn things to be sitting here trying to figure out why it's doing this, especially since I'm about to refresh this fucking timeline, I guarantee you I'll get a whole fucking shit of fucking new messages and all this shit. Yep. So apparently the fucking Wi-Fi is not out on this phone, on this tablet, like it acts like it is. It just does not want to let me go live, which makes me feel like something that I may have gotten violated for, because Instagram known for doing goofy ass shit like that. Oh, you're in violation of something, but they won't tell you what you violated until you attempt to do something like go live. Something you normally wouldn't have a problem with. See what I'm saying? Like, why did I have to go 3 or 4 different times to get this damn live? All right. So my question today, as we get this thing going, I don't want to hold y'all up too much longer, but I do want to let y'all know this shit is getting ready to get real. Okay. So let's bring you to the scenario. Scenario goes like this, right? Young man, you know, in the dating world, single man, you know what I mean? He out there trying to get his rocks off, looking for something. So he decides to go into one of these dating sites, you know, Tinder, Tagged, all these good old streaming sites where you can go and meet somebody, you know, instantly, right? Well, let's just say in these conversations, and you know, with that being one of the main issues that we have to look at, let's look at the fact that everybody don't end up the way this man did. But I will say, this shit is crazy. All right. Some crazy shit happened. Let's just say that, right? So let's get into it. So the young man goes on Tinder, meets a young lady, you know, he's all interested, they talking, and the conversation then leads to the young man going to her house. You know, normal situation. Now, mind you, in any situation, you know, the brother who made the live post about this on YouTube, he says that the old heads didn't teach him right. Well, I agree with that too, because not all people, you know what I'm saying, are accustomed to going to meet people on first dates and not knowing them and all that shit. So you get it, especially around in this time and in this day and age. I can see why. You know, we deal with a bunch of like crazy ass people out here in the world we live in, where you could go thinking you're going to meet someone and you know get to know them on the first appearance and all of these things, and they could be setting you up. You know, and that was something I do agree with, although fortunate for me, I guess you could say, I've never had that happen. And I've been on a lot of those random sites like that. I can remember back in the time when here in the state where I'm at, we used to have this thing called the Albany Raven. Like, I was a very fluent advocate of that hotline service where, I met a few people that I still hang out and I'm friends with to this day. So I had a few wild cards too. Some really, really crazy situations. It brings to mind a scenario that happened to me when I was 18. Got to talking on there, and I met this young lady who just so happened to sound enticing and inviting. I get to her house and I meet her. She's this oversized 43-year-old lady, and I mean, she had to be all of about 380. So I was just like, I don't know what you want me to do here, lady. I did not expect this. This was tragically the most overzealous catfish situation that I could ever have happen to me. However, the scenario is different for this young man who goes on this Tinder date with this young lady. So the young man gets to the young lady's house, and immediately it seems like they get into it, and it got so to the point that all of a sudden he himself didn't even notice this. And as the account states from him himself, he says that she just immediately out of nowhere stopped and proceeds to ask him if he would like to, if he wouldn't mind her duct taping his arms and legs. Now, I think honestly myself, I probably would have paused the play and just said hell to the no and kept it moving. And that'd have been that. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like that would have probably been my last appearance from this person, meeting this person. But the young brother, obviously, he probably wanted to see how far this would go, and he probably thought it was just gonna be a little kinky experience he could talk about with the homies. Well, he goes through it, and in that process, she's got him duct tape. The atmosphere begins to change after she has it. What's up? Nah, just after you done boiling the eggs, just peel the shells and I'll get the rest. I appreciate it though. A toilet paper? Yeah. Roll? Yeah, sure. But like this chick flip mode for real. She went flip mode. So she decides she's going to brandish a knife. And she starts forcing him to go to her bedroom. Now, in her bedroom, she's got him strapped up in the bed with the duct tape and all of this. And she proceeds to start cutting him. Right? All while choking him at the same time. Okay? So, in the same sense, he goes from choking and cutting, and then gets upset that he starts bleeding and starts choking him some more with the belt. Okay. Eventually she gets tired, and she decides she's going to lay down next to him since he's tied up and everything, right? So he fucking creeped his ass out the fucking bed. Barely had time to get up. Barely had time to get his clothes on. All he could do was grab a phone and run his naked ass outside to safety. And that's how he got away, okay? This is an ongoing case, actually, too. So I do want to say, though, when it comes to situations like this, you just don't get no more bizarre than that. You know what I'm saying? Because I myself personally have been in situations where I've met people online or on dating sites, gone to their crib, been all up in their shit. You know what I'm saying? And none of this kind of happens. None of this stuff happens. You know what I mean? I might have had probably, like I said, that one incident, pretty much was one of the more severe incidences for me. But other than that, I don't think I getting myself into certain things like that because I don't know, maybe I'm just one of those people. I'm a little awkward. So for me being the way I am, I guess it saved me from being a part of that, statistical line of people that got caught out there and shit. What's up, Sapphire? I see you tapping in. JoJo Beats on the track, man. Check in. What's happening with everybody? But yeah, man, like we talking about a scenario that was presented to me by Dark Magic, the Black Magic channel. Like if y'all haven't heard of them, go check them out. I will surely share you guys the link one of these days. As a matter of fact, the link to that story is actually one of the ones that I tweeted out yesterday. So definitely go check in on that because the shit is just absolutely bananas. Like I don't know how I would feel about that. And I do question like what you guys think about this situation. What are your thoughts on like dating online or even just, you know what I'm saying, the casual conversation with people you meet on social networks? Because this is a huge topic if you ask me, because of the simple fact I came from an era where, you know, we had a mixture of the two. You know, you get out there and you meet people. Hey, how you doing? You look nice. What's your name? My name is such and such. You know what I mean? And you get to know these persons. Then became more technical where, you know, you get on dating sites and you checking out the profiles and you talking, you know, you send messages back and forth and everything sounds nice until, you know, the first meet. And then when you meet this person, either they are who they are or they're nowhere near what they were, what they said they were. Okay, so it's either one of the two. But just like I was saying, like you get in these scenarios and every so often, like you hear about stuff like this. Like recently, before this incident took place, there was a young lady in Hartford, Connecticut, who had a similar situation, and she's no longer with us because of this situation, due to the fact that the gentleman that she met somehow, and the question and the conversation around that particular case in itself is lingering. So like there's still a lot of questions about it. And from what I've heard recently, since there have been no recent updates about it, the conversation that really just throws me for a tangent was the fact that this young lady met this man, and within that first night of meeting this man, became missing. Nobody could find her, you know, and all of a sudden, she comes up dead. And the last person that seen her,
speech rate 110,
her, was this person. So you know what I'm saying? Like it becomes one of those situations where you're just like, is this even the safest thing to do? Even though, and I know it's something that everybody has seen. I'm pretty sure you've seen a flyer or advertisement or something scrolling through the timeline here on IG, or if you're on like, you know, YouTube or Facebook scrolling through, you'll see all of these ads about stuff like this, where they try to link you up with these, you know, dating sites which you can join in and be a part of a community of people that are, you know, interested in seeing and meeting you. You know, they even have it to where you can meet on the occasion. If you got the right cash flow going, you could actually pay to have someone come to you and get freaky with you. Like that thing kind of blows me for a fucking spin, because truth be told, I thought prostitution was illegal. I was just saying, like, I thought it was illegal, but apparently sex is selling at a major way and it's getting a lot of people caught up in shit. But it's also starting to be something where it's affecting the social atmospheres of other networks that aren't really triggered or targeted in that direction, which everything nowadays has become similar to that. See, Facebook went that way, and Instagram is now kind of that way, where they don't show provocative and damn near naked pictures like they used to, but at the same time, you go in the right spaces, you can still find stuff, you know. And this is coming from my perspective, because of being a blind man, I've heard it all, especially from, you know, people who've actually seen these things with their own eyes themselves. And I mean, I can admit myself, I've seen a few things before I lost vision too, which was like, damn, Really? They let that go on Twitter? Or they let that go on Instagram? You see what I'm saying? Like these things are very much extra, very much, you know what I mean, extensive when it comes to the invitation that they present. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, thinking about that and then the fact that, as an individual who surfs around on the internet, I'm constantly talking to different people. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what the other person on the other side of that screen is thinking, or what their mind is. What their mind is like around them in that atmosphere that they're in. So, you know, um, adding to that situation, you have to be a little more on the precautious side. And I thought of talking about this topic because personally, I really wanted to see who, if any, of us have had this similar situation. Not so severe, but enough to speak on the bizarrities of it. You know what I'm saying? Because truth be told, like I've had some wild encounters when it comes to like meeting women or on sites and shit. Like the last situation was one of those situations where, like I said, the woman just flat out just lied on all aspects of everything. She was, you know, borderline schizophrenic. She really had like severe, serious issues where it's almost like she didn't get enough hugs at home, not enough love in the community, whatever, whatnot. So she just went all over the place. And I kind of didn't see all of that until the last minute. But I will say one thing. Her crazy ass had some good sex. So that's about the only good part about that. That was the only good part about that. It kept me interested due to that part until things started to like really, really really show themselves as crazy shit. You know what I mean? That shit crazy. So yeah, be careful out here, folks. I'm definitely telling you that for sure. But yeah, in the middle of that, let me take a little thought process break from that shit because that's truly some wild ass shit to have to encounter. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that either here in the comment section or you can join the live right now by requesting. While we got the time, I wanted to let y'all know later on today on Twitch, go holler at my boys JoJo Beats and DIP as they do another one, the Dojo Beats Show, tapping in with y'all on Twitch TV at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central Standard Time. Also coming up right before them is another episode of Dope or Note Show. Y'all can check them out tonight at 8 after the hour. They definitely got you cooking. They got you cooking. They probably got some submissions from some really dope individuals, and they do it. They definitely get a good card for you. But that's some dope stuff that comes up this week tonight, just tonight. Also still got time. You could drop in your song if you have one. If you're an artist out there and you want to submit a song tomorrow, New Wave Music Wednesday kicks off again. So y'all submit your music by mrjguns@gmail.com. Or you can leave me a text at 518-560-1477. Or you can just drop it in my DMs if you're on my IG page. Hit me up over there. Or if you're on Facebook, usually I can catch those too. So yeah, submit your music now. It's New Wave Music Wednesday coming up tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And don't forget, this Friday, we will be unavailable due to me hosting a movie night here in my house. So we will not be available for that. Apologies again for that episode, but we will kick it up with you guys. We'll bring it back to you on Saturday for Saturday Night Cypher. And if you got time, come on in and spit some rhymes because I got 30 minutes of mine to give you some of that. So what's good with it? But yeah, joining back into this conversation. The conversation topic, talk about it today. How would you handle this situation? What would this mean for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say this scenario was you, and you meet someone on Tinder, or some social site where you know you think everything is safe. You meet this person, and you get to talking to them. They sound interested, so they hit you with the addy, and they send you on your way over to meet them, right? And you get there, everything seems great. Initially just goes right into a connection, or at least you think. And then all of a sudden, some of the wildest shit takes place. You know, how do you handle a situation like that? Or what are your thoughts going into the situation beforehand? You good? All right, thanks, Kira. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, now I know you got to go lay down, so I appreciate you. All right, sorry, love. You have a good night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. She's so damn. But it just it's one of those scenarios that we have going on in our world today that just it almost makes it easy for like the Jeffrey Dahmer types to fucking do silly ass shit like what they do. Like, you just don't know. And it's not always the easy thing to figure out until it's almost too late. So the reason why we're bringing this conversation topic up is because we want you guys to think positive and be safe. It's cool to get on here and meet new people, talk to new people, and find out what's different about what's going on in their side of the world versus yours. But when it comes to meeting someone, there really has to be a certain level of precaution going around because we do not know. We just don't know. And yes, it's true, you won't know until you find out. But would you rather find out from a safe distance or right up and close and personal in a near-death experience? See what I'm saying? That's the question that it boils down to. Would you rather meet from a safe distance or in a near-death experience? See what I'm saying? Because it just doesn't. It truthfully is a cut and dry kind of question, if you ask me. Because I do think of meeting in a safe distance is probably the best way for everybody. Because nobody's at risk. Maybe some feelings might get hurt from something that might be said that doesn't need to be said or shouldn't have been said. But at the same time, they still get a visual of you. And would you rather them know who you are or know who you're hiding? Or know that you're hiding something, or at least be suspiciously thinking that you are because of how you are. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like personally, I just feel like in these types of situations, this is serious. This could be deadly. This could be dangerous. You know what I mean? So you really just want to be careful about what you're doing and who you're getting involved with. Make sure you know the person before you deal with it. Shit is absolutely, it's an absolute must. Because I notice how in this day and age now, young people, even some old people, are more interested in how fast they can get you in the bed than getting to know the person, to break down whether or not this person is fit for you, to any of these valuable factors, because a soul is connecting to another soul when y'all mate and then y'all having sex, because sex is not just a physical thing anymore. It's more than that. It's an emotional entanglement. It's a mental entanglement. It's spiritual entanglement. There's a lot going on there. And you blending souls and spirits together when you do these things. Yes, if it's not connecting, if it doesn't connect, you're going to get a toxic situation. So, you know, it's just, and to be honest, like that's the whole thing for me. Like, because my first thoughts when I first heard this story was the same thoughts as the narrator who told the story. That must have been some good ass head for a motherfucker to take his damn, to be already naked and allow this person to now duct tape you at the ankles and feet, at the ankles and wrists. That shit is insane. I mean, goddamn, would you get some snappy nappy neck from motherfucking Superhead or some shit? Because that shit makes no sense to me. Like, I done had some shit that'll make your toes curl, but ain't a woman in the world gonna make me tie myself up. I'm sorry, or accept her tying me the fuck up first. For the most part, I've had a scenario like this. My girl thought about trying that shit one time, and I flipped the fuck out because I ain't with it. I'm not with it, and it's just like ever since then, that's not something we walk on. You know what I mean? You're not finna just be on some shit. Like I can see, you know what I mean? You know, wake up, wake up to sex type of shit. Like I've had that happen. You know, woke up to my dick sucked, or waking up getting rolled on and shit. I done had some wild shit, but never have I been tied up, blindfolded, or any of that shit. Like I don't agree. Handcuffs. I'm not accustomed to handcuffs. I've been in jail. I've been arrested by the police. I've been beat up while in handcuffs by the police. So no, I'm not a fan of being cuffed. That shit is a trigger for me mentally. So that's why we don't do restraints. I don't do no restraints. I'm not a fan of all of that shit. And I mean, I used to be a member of this web page back when I was a little younger, in my early 20s. I used to be a member of this web page called chokeme.com. You know what I'm saying? And, this was one of those sites for SMD. You know what I mean? Like, it was just simply that. You know what I mean? It was literally the kind of, dominatrix and master and submissive kind of, atmosphere that, it was interesting to see until I started getting to more of the, humiliation stages of these, graphic photos and all of that, because we're talking about people being tied up, extended in the air and clipped on to fucking, they got rings, they had a video. There was one photo I seen. I never forget this photo because it was bugged out. This person had piercings in their back. They had rings pierced in their back. Like they had piercings in different sections of their back. And it was all the way down the backside of their body. And they would get harnessed. They would get strapped and clipped onto like these harnesses and expended into the air on these fucking things. Like this shit is insane. Period. I'm sorry. I'm just not a fan. Not at all. It got a little carried away from me because, I was just not what? And it was kind of interesting because again, we're talking about something that's really, really like, wow, she's letting you, like, she was okay with this. Like she was okay being on her knees, butt ass naked with a bowl of cereal or something in front of her while you sit at the table with a newspaper and half and your pants down, while she's eating her cereal, she's giving you top and all that shit. Like that kind of shit sounded cool at first, but then I thought about it. It's like, do I really want to be okay with a person, taking that kind of submissive behavior around me, because then it's like, what else would you, be okay with doing? And how far is too far? Because, I get a little nervous. I get a little nervous when we're talking the whole premise of like choking and shit. Like, I have sex and women be like, choke me hard. I was like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? I'm a little thought. I have to think, because sometimes I can get carried away on that thought, and it brings me back to a scenario where there was a gentleman in New York City who, met this girl at Central Park, and they walking through the park, and she was so horny she wanted to have sex with him, and they ended up having sex in the park, and she says, choke me, damn it, choke me. And he choked the shit out of her. He choked her to death. Okay? I feel like at some point in my life that could happen, and I'm not too fond of trying it or wanting to be involved in it. So again, it can be very much a situation like, similar to this. But then, that's not the premise of this conversation today. Today's topic is more or less along the lines of when Tinder dating goes wrong. Because we don't know. You don't know. Like, these people out here in this world today are fucking batshit crazy. And we just don't know. We just don't know what we're walking ourselves into. We don't know who we're getting in with. And until we know these people fully or understand who they are, what they're about, where their values are, we are literally walking on eggshells because we don't know. For example, my ex-girlfriend, the girl I met during my life when I was living back in Atlanta. I met her, met her on a dating site. For example, to be honest, this is where I'm gonna tell you right now where I met her. I met her on POF. Plenty of fish, plenty of fish. Because I remember back in the day, I used to say, "There's plenty of fish in the sea," and that was one of the things that when that site first came up, I was probably one of the early members. I was probably one of the few members on that site. One of early, when it early kicked off or whatever. And again, this 2013 at the time, I met this girl. We got together, we hooked up later, and we set up some time after talking, back and forth on the messenger, on the board, back and forth. Then it got to a point where I was like, fuck all that. Why don't you just hit me up? Or matter of fact, we'll meet somewhere, Initial place we met, public space, we met at McDonald's. The McDonald's we happened to meet at was not far from her house. So upon the conversation that we had, I felt comfortable enough to go there. We talked for a bit, got to know each other a little more, and then I left. And the next day, maybe a few days later, we kept talking back and forth. We got exchanging the numbers and all that shit. So we started talking back and forth. And we got to a point where we were very conversant, to the point where we was, visiting each other regularly. I would go see her, she would come see me, all of that stuff. And we would just meet up and hang out. And as the months got on in time, I started to notice little twerks, little tweaks about her. You know what I mean? One minute she would be okay, next thing you know, she would be spazzing out on some shit, just all the way loose, tripping and flipping, right? And I'm just like sitting there like, are you okay? You seem a little like out of it right now, you know what I mean? And no, I'm okay, blah 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 blah. This shit just blah blah blah. And then most of the time it would be something that I felt like, okay, well, maybe you do have a legitimate reason to be upset about. So I, didn't think nothing of it. Well, we got into almost a year being together. a year dating and all of that shit. We've been together each other almost a full year. And particularly one incident after, just before I got arrested, right? So I go and we're hanging out, and I got mad. I was upset. I was pissed one day, right? So I go to the liquor store. I got me a fifth of E&J, and I'm sitting there with this bottle, this fifth of E&J. I'm just bang, 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 shot for shot, banging the bottle, straight out the bottle, just kicking it, throwing back. But I was in a depressive state. So I left. I was sitting out on the porch, and I happened to go in the house, and I was so fucked up because I started drinking that, and then I started drinking some beers on top of that shit, right? So I was all the way fucked up by the time I got from the living room area after I walked in the house to the bedroom. I was walking to the bathroom, actually. I didn't get to the bathroom. I blacked out and passed the fuck out in the hallway. I remember that part. Well, I woke up the next day, and that morning I wake up, I'm just like, wow, I feel weird. I look down at myself. I'm half naked. My drawers is all the way down to my ankles and shit. And fucking, I got these stains on me and shit. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck happened? It's looking a little sticky downstairs. I didn't feel like I was violated at the time until I came out of the room. She was hanging out. It was her and a friend. They were in her room, her friend's room, talking and all of this and that and the third. And I'm just like, I walk in, I'm like, hey, what's good? What happened last night? They start laughing. That's both of them. They both looking at me, just chuckling like they just had the best laugh of their life. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ignore this. Go take a shower, get dressed, and I'm just like, I think I got raped. Yeah, and I mean, I hate to say it in that sense because, like, when you think about it, what man, has a legible case when they say something like that? Because it doesn't always sound logical for a man to come out and say, look, I think I've been violated. You know what I'm saying? But anything that permits an unwanted touch or sexual action that is unwanted, or you can't even say it's unwanted when you consider the fact that I was literally unconscious. I was drunk. I was blacked out. So whatever the hell happened without my mental knowing. And they took full advantage of that. But, that stuck with me. And even after the whole scenario broke down and everything, I just realized that this was just me being the victim of something that I did not understand. And it took me almost after me and her broke up and everything, because we, maybe, and then the following year that happened, we broke up. And she kind of just like came at this situation a little different because, mind you, I had just lost my vision at this time, so I was blind. I was a fresh blind person, trying to adjust to the new way of life for me. And before this happened, I thought she said she was pregnant. I knew she was pregnant because we took a pregnancy test. I seen the test; it was positive. I was okay. I was like, oh shit, she's pregnant. She's about to have a baby for me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I can't be the same person I was. And then all of a sudden, this happens to my vision where I lose my vision. So me and her split up. She tells me that she has this child. So now I'm just trying to get back to the child because I was more concerned about the relationship between me and this new baby because I didn't want them, to know or to be unaware. I want to be a part of my child's life. Oh, I do. I really am that parent where I really like being engaged with my children. I could care less about, you know, what anybody else thinks about that. But yeah, that's really where I'm at. So when it all boils down to it, right? When it all comes down to it, the fact that he lied to me. She lied to me, right? Because little did I know, she had, when I ended up getting, initially after I got sick, she had a miscarriage. I was in the hospital under, you know, a lot of like drugs, all of this medication that they were giving me to try to heal and treatments and stuff. I've literally been lied to by this girl. She convinced me that she had a child of mine, and she just was being stubborn and not trying to let me see or be involved with the child, rather than to call me and tell me about little things here and there that were happening. And none of this stuff made sense because, again, when you're dealing with a newborn or a child that hasn't even reached a year old yet, even before the child hits 6 months, you start to hear them regularly, more than normal, you know, because they talk, or they're trying to talk, or they're doing a lot of moving around, and, you know, a lot of like whimpering for food and comfort and consoling and all of this stuff. This becomes a normal thing after a certain amount of time. Because even in the early stages, you have some babies that are very quiet. You have a lot of babies that are just very vocal. They can cry about everything, or they're upset and they're just frustrated about it all, right? My daughter was a perfect example of that. When my daughter was born, I knew immediately that it was real, because she was there. I heard that voice, and that little girl, still to this day, she'll be 2 next month, and she talks more than a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So my big thing is, when I started getting curious to the question of, you know, why she was so elusive to me being involved, or me being able to even make contact with this child, I began to ask questions. And one night, in a drunken anger, she decided she was going to confess to me what would happen. And that was when I realized, prior to that, like, not like right after she said this to me and I stopped talking to her, her aunt informed me that she was suffering from schizophrenia. She was already diagnosed as a borderline schizophrenic. She had literally crossed over the threshold by the time things happened with me, and the relationship kind of went down space. So I was very lost in that, very, very lost for a while. And I'm just saying, like, I worked my way through that situation. You know, crazy part about it is, like, even after all of that, she tried to reach out to me, and just expected me to be like willing to accept her back in my life with open arms. I was just like, no, thank you. Because first and foremost, like, when I first went blind, you began to treat me a whole different way, you know. And this is just speaking from my experience with the situation. Mind you, I met her on a dating site, and we dated for almost a year and a half, solid, you know what I mean, before the split up. But it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into that whole situation. And that's why I'm bringing this question to you guys today, because the conversation is just crazy. The situation is just crazy itself. And we're really literally talking about a life or death situation, because imagine.
Device unlocked. Lock screen. 7:56 p.m.
There was actually
YT music. Next song button.
It was actually a situation
Screen off.
similar to this. A woman who was out back in September of last month was out, and she ended up being abducted by this man. And you know, the woman was locked in the basement for days, being raped and abused and whipped and all of this stuff. She made her escape during a moment when he was taking his daughter to school. You see what I'm saying? But in that time where she was looking for someone to help her, she had stressed the fact that she was held captive with friends who are now dead. Okay, she had to witness this atrocity happening to her friends and almost to her. You see what I'm saying? So the scenario goes so 0 to 100 in less than a second. You see what I'm saying? So with that being the whole scenario, knowing that we live in a world where everything could flip on us at a moment's notice, we just have to really be protective of ourselves and watch out for who we deal with. And with that being the case, I do want to let you guys know we've reached the top of the hour. Don't forget, check out Dope or Nope Show coming up in the next hour at 8 p.m. right here on IG at Dope or Nope Show. And later on Twitch, you can check them out. My boys JoJo Beats and DIP, Debala G, the OG on the Dojo Beats. 10:30 tonight, 9:30 Central. So if you guys are in the town of Twitch, if you're in the town of IG, that's what's coming up next for you. So check them out. And I appreciate you guys for tapping in with me. If you guys have a comment or a suggestion or comment to this live stream that you would like to talk about or bring up in the comment section, please do so. And if you're on the linear platforms like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, please like and share the stream. Let some other folks know what time it is. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the stream to yourself and let them know the PZ show is live Monday through Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on your linear platforms, IG, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Again, I appreciate you guys for joining me tonight. We're almost out of time here, but like I said,
Tuesday, October 18th, 8 o'clock, 78%, window modo display.
Definitely around the
Double
way.
tap to activate.
So I appreciate you guys for being here. Hope to see you guys tomorrow for New Wave Music Wednesday, where we submitting music. And if you got some, bring it. All right. Peace. All right, bye. Man, y'all. I'm sorry.
Tuesday, October 18th, 8 o'clock, 78%. Double tap to activate.
Almost seemed like it wasn't going to happen today. It was just very, very awkward, the whole scenario. But I appreciate y'all for being a part of the show. Again, don't forget to share the stream, hit that likes button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please show some love for the Blind MC as we do what we do. I'll see you guys tomorrow for New Wave Music Wednesday for new music. Hey.